Today, we are diving into a really fascinating puzzle from the world of dreams. We're looking at two dreams that one person had just 2 days apart, and get this, they seem to be complete polar opposites. One is all about scarcity, about being forced to take something you don't even want. And the other? It's all about loss, being forced to get rid of something you truly cherish. So what's going on here? How can two dreams that are total opposites actually be part of the same story? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. And this makes you wonder about your own dreams, right? When you're dreaming, is it all just, random static? A bunch of nonsensical noise your brain makes while you sleep? Or could there be a deeper logic at play? Maybe a single, hidden story being told, even through dreams that seem to contradict each other? That's the big question we're going to explore. All right, so first things first, let's set the stage and meet the two protagonists of our story, the two dreams at the very heart of this mystery. The contrast here is just wild. In the first dream, the dreamer finds himself in this tiny, almost empty convenience store, and he feels this weird pressure to buy powdered milk, which is, a pretty lame substitute for the real thing. Okay, fast forward just 2 days. Now he's dreaming his wife has ordered a giant truck to come and just haul away his most treasured possessions from a storage unit. We're talking handwritten files, a beloved carpet, everything. So one dream is about being forced to accept something inadequate, and the other is about being forced to lose something priceless.
Okay, so the most natural place to start, right, is to look at the symbols. What do the key things in each of these dreams actually represent? Let's break it down.
If you look at the objects, that's where it gets really interesting. On the left, you've got powdered milk. Milk itself usually symbolizes nourishment, right? But the powdered kind, it's a substitute. It's not the real deal. It kind of screams unmet needs or settling for less. But then on the right, you've got handwritten files. I mean, these aren't just objects. They're basically a person's life. Their memories, their history, their very identity. They're absolutely essential.
And it's not just the things in the dream. It's what's happening. The scarcity dream is all about an inward pull. You're being forced to accept this substitute, to bring something inadequate into your life. The dream of loss, it's the complete opposite. It's an outward push. You're being forced to discard something essential, to push it away. And get this, even the emotions were polar opposites. The scarcity dream was just mildly frustrating, annoying, but the dream of loss, that was filled with this deep, profound grief and a total sense of helplessness. So literally everything about them, the setting, the things, the actions, the feelings, is a perfect mirror image. How weird is that?
And this is where just looking at symbols kind of hits a wall. Okay, we get it, they're opposites. But why? Why would your brain go to all the trouble of cooking up such a perfectly symmetrical, opposing dream just 2 nights later? There has to be something deeper going on here.
So to really crack this, we need to look at it from a completely different angle. And this is where a really cool framework comes in called the Brain Kinematics Model, or BKM for short. Basically, the BKM says, hey, stop trying to read your dreams like a book with a secret code. Instead, think of them as emotional stress tests. Life puts all this pressure on us. The BKM calls these strains, and our dreams are like the brain's own private laboratory for testing out how we can handle them.
Here's the breakdown. It's pretty simple, actually. First off, your everyday life creates some kind of emotional pressure, a strain. Next, your brain takes that strain and packages it into a theme, something like not having enough or losing what's important. And then, this is the cool part, your dreams take those packages and push them to their absolute limits to see how the whole system holds up under pressure.
All right, now we've got our new tool. Let's go back to those two dreams and see if we can finally crack this case wide open. This is where we see the brain's balancing act in real time.
So when you apply this model, everything just clicks into place. Look at dream A, the scarcity one. The strain is a simple demand, which leads to the dynamic of accepting a substitute. The emotional load, it's pretty low, and it fades fast. But then look at dream B, the loss dream. The input there is a disposal order. This forces a dynamic of detaching from valuables, which creates this high-intensity, slow-to-fade grief. See? They're two completely different kinds of emotional workouts.
And this all leads to this incredible aha moment. We've been looking at it all wrong. These aren't two separate, contradictory dreams at all. They are two sides of the exact same coin. They're fundamentally connected.
The researchers who analyze this have a term for it that is just perfect. They call it a paired oscillation. It's the brain running an explorative test, swinging between the two extremes of deprivation on one side and excess on the other, all in an attempt to find its balance.
You know, the best way to think about this is like a pendulum. For a pendulum to find its center, that stable resting point, it has to swing all the way to one extreme and then all the way to the other extreme. That's exactly what the brain is doing here. It's testing its ability to cope with scarcity, and then it swings all the way over to test its ability to cope with loss, all to find that calm spot in the middle.
So, okay, this is a really cool analysis of one person's dreams. But what about us? What's the big takeaway? Why does any of this matter for you and your dreams?
Well, it suggests that you can think of your dreams as your own personal mental gym. While you're asleep, your brain is busy running these incredible simulations, testing your emotional resilience. It's asking itself these really deep questions. Hey, can you handle it if you have less than you need? And hey, can you get through losing what is most essential to you? By exploring both poles, it's literally training itself to find and maintain a stable, healthy middle ground.
So the next time you wake up from some crazy, weird, or even unsettling dream, just remember this. It might not just be a random story. It could be your brain doing some of its most important work, a continuous, nightly effort to keep your entire emotional world in balance. Which leaves us with one final thought to take with you. If the brain tests its balance by exploring these opposite extremes, what paired oscillations, what extremes of scarcity and abundance, of acceptance and loss, is your brain going to be exploring tonight?